Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Hopefully you guys are all doing well today. In today's video, we're going to be discussing some interesting news that came out over the past 24 hours about a possible new DLC update that may be released into GTA Online this December that sounds very, very interesting. So if you've been watching my videos, you will know that the past few weeks and even months have been very quiet in terms of what is going to come next in GTA Online. However, we did receive some new information over the past day from a trustable source in the community that does suggest that there is a new DLC among the horizon, and we're going to be discussing exactly what that DLC is likely going to be in today's video. But before we get into that, make sure to drop a like rating on this video to show your support, as well as subscribe down below for more daily videos just like this. But first off, here is today's shoutout of the day, and right after into the actual video. So today's shoutout of the day goes to a really awesome product known as the Pace Trail Global Card. It is the world's thinnest GPS tracker. You can put it virtually everywhere, ranging from your wallet to your luggage and everything in between, and it offers 24/7 live tracking on all of your items, and if you happen to lose something, it will let you know exactly where it is. Many other item trackers out there come in weird shapes and maybe too big. This one is a great size that fits virtually anywhere that you want it to, and it comes with a great set of features. Make sure to click the first link in the description down below to learn more about the Pace Trail Global Card and back it on Kickstarter today. But with that being said, and without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this video. So most of you watching this video right now are likely familiar with TezFunds. He of course is a very reliable source when it comes to GTA 5 news and just news about Rockstar games in general. Now, over the past couple of months, he's been very quiet in regards to what is coming next for the game, which led a lot of us, including myself, to speculate a bit more than what we're used to. Now, thankfully for us, TezFunds did release a number of very interesting statements over the past 24 hours that I'd like to share with you right now, and all of these relate to the same idea of there being a new DLC for GTA 5 and GTA Online later this year in December. And just to remind you, the last major update that we did receive last year did also take place in December 2020. Now, according to TezFunds, there was part of the nightclub DLC which was released a number of years ago that actually did not make it into the game. Now, whether this was cut content or whether Rockstar was saving this on purpose, we do not know, but this additional content is going to add the ability to raid other players' warehouses, nightclubs, and other types of businesses, stealing goods from them and then getting paid for that. So it's going to add almost like a P2P aspect in the game, which really isn't the case at the moment, because whenever you're raiding any type of facility, it is just predefined AI characters. So this is going to be certainly interesting, especially if you can kind of defend your business on top of that. So I understand why this likely did not come out with the nightclub update. This certainly sounds like a pretty big element to add, and certainly in a lot of new mechanics that are not in the game. However, I really hope that this does come true, because this certainly sounds interesting. I definitely like the aspect of adding the ability to raid other players' warehouses, and I think this adds a number of benefits into the game. Number one, it's certainly going to be more interesting and a lot more agile to go ahead and do these missions, and then number two, it will require players to log on more often in case they need to defend their warehouse and their storage building. This kind of reminds me of Rust, where you have your base and you need to log on every so often to defend it against raiders, and this is certainly an interesting concept, but again, it is not confirmed, but it certainly is something that Rockstar was working on according to TezFunds. He also did mention that at one point Rockstar was planning to introduce some gang wars and territory control, which sounds super interesting and kind of adds to that P2P element that I mentioned a minute ago. Now, all of that sounds super interesting, and hopefully we do get something along those lines, because I know that would certainly be an interesting and exciting change into the game. But unfortunately, there is another DLC that TezFunds does suggest that we may receive, and this one is certainly a lot more underwhelming. So obviously a few months ago we did receive the Tuner DLC in GTA Online, and that update was received for the most part with pretty mediocre reviews. It wasn't the best DLC ever, but it certainly wasn't the worst, and I personally had that experience too. Now, Test Fund says that they likely have some type of content that simply is flow over content from the original update that has not been released yet, and he does suggest that we could receive a part 2 of that update with more contracts and just an expansion of the original update. Now, while that is certainly welcome, it is definitely not as exciting as the other things that we mentioned earlier. Now, Rockstar Games did officially confirm that the next update for the game will be in October, which will be the Halloween update. Of course, as we expected and as we discussed in my video from a couple of days ago, that update is certainly not going to be too interesting, but in December, things are certainly going to heat up. So we still have a few months to go, and we still have yet to see what Rockstar has up their sleeve, but hopefully it is something interesting and not something we've already seen before. But let me know in those comments down below, what are your thoughts about the whole idea of gang wars and raiding other people's warehouses? Is that something that interests you? Do you think the whole idea of having to log on to possibly defend your warehouse is really interesting? Or do you like the way it is now, where the players are kind of cut out of it, and right now it's more of a player versus environment situation instead of player versus player? Myself personally, I certainly like the idea. I know I really haven't invested that much time into my properties in the game for the main reason that they simply don't offer that much reward, and I think the ability to have some of that money taken away by someone else going to your property and robbing it pretty much in the game, I certainly think that will add an additional element into properties and businesses in GTA Online, but I can understand that this will get a mixed reaction from the community. But let me know what your thoughts are in those comments down below, because I really want to hear from you guys. And also, just a quick reminder that everything we discussed in today's video is not 100% confirmed. This is simply coming from Test Funds, which, as you guys know, is a super reliable source for GTA 5 news. And while he has a very good and accurate track record, nobody is accurate 100% of the time. So as always, do take this information with a grain of salt. We are still a little bit away from December, but hopefully this gives you a good idea of what's yet to come. But either way, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed watching and you learned something new, let me know by dropping a like rating on this video, as well as subscribe down below if you have not already with those notifications on so you're always notified whenever I upload a brand new video. But either way, thank you again for tuning in today, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video just like this. But until then, have an awesome day, and I'll be sure to talk to you guys then.